Well, hello everyone, and welcome to week 2 of the NFL Contest Show. I am your host, Jesse Flynn, and I am here to reveal my 5 selections for week 2 of the Circa Millions contest. We'll also be going over the selections um, that everybody's made in the contest. They haven't released them yet, the picks for week 2. What we can do is just go over um, week 1 real quick, just to get a little refresher of how things went. So I ended up going 1-4. If you're unaware, week 1, but um, just a little quick thing here. The top 11 selections in week 1 went 1-10. So everybody struggled. Um, as you can see on this slide, only 49 entries out of the over 5,600 went 5-0, and you only had less than 500 actually go 4-1 or better. So, although week 1 was very disappointing with the um, 2 losses that we took in the primetime games, with the Ravens and the Bears both surrendering leads in the second half in the fourth quarter. We're moving on. We're going to have a great week 2. I've got some selections. Hopefully, I'm not stuck in the top 5, though I think I may have um, 1 or 2 picks in the top 5 selections. One in particular I think might actually certainly make the top 5. But it's tough in this contest. You got to try to not have losing weeks, especially consecutively back to back, because it certainly makes it more difficult. Because you just have to, you're behind all the other entries. And let's go ahead, and so we see here like 1,400 people went 1-4, 2,080 went 2-3. And then you had some 0-5s and 23 people that didn't put in anything, which that's terrible. I actually had that happen to me one contest. But yeah, so we're waiting on the release of the selections right now. Watching the Notre Dame Texas A&M game, and Texas A&M, as a matter of fact, just scored. I have A&M plus the 6.5. I have them parlayed with LSU minus 4.5 and South Carolina money line minus 140, I believe it was. They were a favorite, but the A&M's keeping it close. It's tied. LSU and Florida's tied 10-10, and I believe, yeah, Vanderbilt just scored, so it's 14-7. So that's tough because Vanderbilt's been looking like they've been the more dominant team in this game. And of course, Texas A&M is coming back. But yeah, so we're just waiting on them to release the selections, but we can also take a look at the results from Circa Survivor week 1, and yeah, that wasn't great for me. I'm not in the Survivor contest, but I was making the selections as if I was, and I'm already eliminated after 1 week, which is why I don't like wasting $1,000, because I'm just not good at these one and done contests. I like having an opportunity to make up for a bad week, which is why I like the millions over the Survivor. But obviously, Survivor's payday is way more. I mean, $18.5 million in prize money is going to be paid out for this contest. I mean, you'll be, whoever wins this will be a millionaire when it's done, because there won't be that many. I'm sure there won't be one, but there won't be more than 10. So in Survivor, the big loser was my selection, New England, at 269 entries that got knocked out. Dolphins with their terrible game. All the big selections though survived. Wasn't really a bloodbath. There was less than 600 total entries eliminated in week 1. Week 2 is looking to be a little more like there could be some big selections that lose. Baltimore is being predicted as the top pick. Who else? Let me see. Who else some of these guys got? And the Atlas, Survivor Atlas, they're predicting. They're predicting Baltimore as number 1, Arizona as the second favorite pick. Going up against, who are they playing again? The Panthers. That's why. Dallas taking on the Giants. I like that one. Rams taking on Titans. That's another one. It's a 5.5 point spread. You've got Detroit taking on the Bears, who I don't know. They could give them a tough game. That's bold, and and then Buffalo, which again, that everybody, this is a win, and this isn't the spread. This is just a win. But the Buffalo Bills are basically a 6.5 point favorite on the road against the New York Jets. So this is what they're predicting for the Survivor for week 2. And like out of these 5, I could see Buffalo losing. I could see Detroit losing. I could see Dallas losing if somehow the Giants offense can get their head out of their butts. Carolina could give Arizona everything they want. I like Baltimore's chances here. This is a division game against Cleveland, but we'll see. We will see. Let's see if they've released anything yet. Okay, here we go. So we've got the top 5 picks. Top 5 picks are for week 2 of the Circa Survivor contest. The Denver Broncos at 1,887. I'm not surprised because the line in the Circa is a pick 'em. And the line right now in a lot of these books is -2.5. The best you can get is -1.5, but -2.5 seems to be the number right now. So you're getting 2.5 points of value with this selection. Now, my first pick, and the one I was pretty sure was going to be in the top 5, is... Oh, wrong way. The Denver Broncos. So I have the top pick. This is a game I almost took out to, but their defense is just better. I don't believe in Daniel Jones. Even though the Colts were the only team that got me a win last week, I'm going against them because I believe that had more to do with Miami and their defense just being their secondary. Their best player was Storm Duck, and he got hurt. Now you've got a real pass rush that's going to, if you watch, Daniel Jones had all kinds of time to throw in that game because Miami got no pressure on him. That's not going to happen with this Broncos defense. They're going to pressure Daniel Jones. That's when Daniel Jones makes mistakes. And the DBs that the Broncos have are way better than what they faced last week. So I think Patrick Surtain and company will have good game. And Bo Nix in the offense. There was the turnover problem last week. I don't think that'll be repeated. Sean Payton, the head coach, kind of took the brunt of that and said that it was his play calling that was really the problem. So I think they're going to have a better game plan. They're going to know how to attack this Spags defense. And I just believe Denver's going to win this game. And since it's a pick 'em and you're getting 2.5 points of value, I understand why it was so popular. And so the number 1 pick in the Circa Millions for week 2 is my top pick, the Broncos at a pick 'em. Now the next pick is Dallas -5.5, which I do not have this one. Number 3 with 1,644 is Detroit -5.5. People saw that Monday night game with the Bears collapse, and they're not buying the Caleb Williams just yet. They're expecting this Detroit team to figure things out. But their offensive line has got some new pieces. They didn't really look cohesive against the Packers, and this Bears defense is good. They were just exhausted. As much as everybody's giving credit to Minnesota for that comeback, it had as much to do with Chicago's offense not being able to hold the ball. They kept going 3 and out and keeping the defense on the field. They were just exhausted by the fourth quarter. But they're supposed to be getting back some pieces for the Bears. So, yeah, I could see this going the other way in Chicago winning this game outright. The number 4 pick in the Circa Week 2 selections is the New York Jets plus 6.5 taking on the Buffalo Bills. Everybody saw them put up a good game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They really should have won that game if not for some turnovers and missed field goals. And Buffalo needed everything they could get to beat Baltimore, and they played Sunday night. Now they've got to play this game on the road. Then they play on Thursday night next week at home against Miami. But still, they've got a very busy couple of weeks here, and I could certainly see Buffalo. If they win this game, I don't think they'll win by margin, even though normally when Buffalo does win, they win by margin. But I also like the New York Jets plus 6.5. So I have 2 picks so far out of the top 5, and I have the number 1 and number 4 pick. So, and we're getting a little bit of line value with this one as well, I believe, because I think it moved to 6. Some places it's 6, some places it's 6.5. This number will bounce back and forth, but yeah, I like the Jets in this one. I think they're going to be able to run the game or run the ball. We saw Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry run it all over them, and they're missing Ed Oliver, who was really the big playmaker in that game against the Ravens. He was like the guy who was making all the key plays, and now he's out. Last time the Jets played and they put Benford man-to-man on Garrett Wilson, I think Wilson had over 100 yards and a touchdown. So the secondary for Buffalo really has me concerned. And Justin Fields, he looked good against Pittsburgh. He's using his legs. He's making good decisions. I like this tight end that they have. And I think the Jets' culture is being turned around. Now, had they won the game, I don't think the line would be this big. But because they lost, they're getting a little more love. We'll have to see where Buffalo is. I wonder if Buffalo will even crack 1,000. But yeah, I have the first and 4th pick out of the top 5 selections, and then now the 5th one is Philly. Now I predicted this one would be in the top 5, just because they saw the first game with the Chiefs losing to the Chargers. And Philly beat Dallas. And then obviously everybody watched the Super Bowl last year, so they saw Philly manhandle the Chiefs in that game and just do whatever they wanted, basically. So, of course, Philadelphia is the favorite here, -1 in Arrowhead. I didn't want anything to do with this game just because this is one of those games where you just want to kind of kick back and watch it. And, I might have some kind of same game parlay with props involved, but I probably won't have a side. Maybe the total or something, but what's the total for this one? The total for this one's 46.5. So should be an exciting game to watch for sure. And, yeah, I mean, with Kansas City's receiver issues, with the injuries, who knows what's going to happen, but you can never count out Patrick Mahomes, especially as a underdog at home. The guy they just find a way to win, and their defense is still good. So they still got Spags, dialing it up. So they might be able to give them everything they can handle. I mean, they did beat Philly in the first time they met in the Super Bowl. So, there is that. There is the real opportunity that they could beat him again. They've done it before. But so yeah, I don't have any action on this one. Like I said, I have the first and fourth pick. Still waiting on the final release of all the numbers. We've only gotten the top five so far. Yeah, this is the point spreads for all the games. Yeah, as you can see, where is it? Yeah, right here. Colts and Broncos, pick 'em. So no wonder why the Broncos were the top selection in this game. We've got some action going in these college games, by the way. I mean, they're Texas A&M's within 3 points with a minute and a half to go. About maybe score again. Florida and LSU is tied, and I need LSU to cover the 4.5. And then Vandy still beating South Carolina in South Carolina, 14-7, and I have South Carolina money line. So they need to score some points. There's only 34 seconds left before the half. They need to score some points. They're at the 30-yard line of Vanderbilt. They need to put some points on the board before halftime. There was some great games today. Man, that Tennessee game burned me. I took Tennessee money line. I thought for sure that kid was going to make that kick. Like, dude, you're going to be the big man on campus if you make this field goal to win the game for Tennessee against Georgia, a team that they haven't beaten like 20 years or whatever they kept talking about. It's like, man, how does that happen? But I don't know. We can go back to that other page for a second. VSiN here. But yeah, back to the top five. Yeah, I didn't see Dallas being that popular because that line has moved um in the Giants' favor, I believe. Where are we at here? Yeah, right here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're seeing 4.5s out there. So this line and then 5, but they like the Cowboys. I mean, I guess Dak's got a great record against the NFC East, and there's all the trends that I kept hearing about with this game, that lean Cowboys. But I've got some daily fantasy lineups, and I played CeeDee Lamb and Dak in a bunch of them because I expect them to throw the ball around a lot. They're not going to be able to run against this Giants um, pass rush, the front four, but they can certainly throw the ball against them. And the Cowboys tend to throw the ball quite a bit. And then Detroit and Chicago. Yeah, I mean, you're getting value. The line's moved to 6.5. Uh-oh. Is A&M not going to score a touchdown here? That's third and goal. Oh. Boom. Yeah, he did. He literally turned him right from the goal line, turned him sideways. That was a hell of a shot by that Notre Dame DB. Number 34 there. All right, come on, Tigers. Score a touchdown. You can also do something. Get yourself in field goal range. Here we go. Here we go. You can never tell with a college kicker, though. Those guys, you never know if they're going to make it or not. But so we can talk. I guess I'll move on to the next, my next pick. And we'll talk about the selections and where they rank once they release. Oh, here we go. We got something else here. We got the Survivor. And Arizona is actually the top pick, not Baltimore. Not Baltimore, but Baltimore is number 2 at about 700 picks less, 740 picks less, something like that. And we've got a touchdown from A&M. Wow. I thought they were going to get blown out in the beginning. It was looking bad. And then, yeah, they got that long touchdown when the guy didn't go out of bounds. And Wow. Man. South Carolina is going to be the one to burn me because I don't see LSU losing to Florida at home in this game. But South Carolina, they're number 11, man. Come on. Show some fight. Show some fight. But yeah, so we've got this Survivor top five. Dallas at 3,506. The Rams at 1,600. That's about half of that, less than half of that. And then Detroit 900. So these are the big popular picks right here. Out of these three, Dallas could certainly lose this game. So could Arizona. If somehow Bryce Young and his receivers learn that, first of all, Xavier Legette has to learn that you've got to get 2 feet in bounds in the NFL. But if they can run the ball with Chuba Hubbard, I mean, I played Chuba Hubbard on some DFS lineups, and I think they're going to be able to run the ball. And if they could somehow make the mayor of Munchkinland commit some turnovers, we could certainly see this Carolina Panthers team pull off the upset. Their defense is not very good, but no team's going 0-17. So one of these games they're going to win. One of these games the Carolina Panthers are going to, get the win. I mean, they are on the road in Arizona. I think it's +7 in the Circa right now, the line. So, they're getting a full touchdown, but still, they could certainly pull off the upset. I mean, what happens if Kyler Murray goes down or something like that? You immediately, the entire balance of power in that game would shift to Carolina. Notre Dame's got the ball back now with 1:10. I just need Vanderbilt can't score no more points between now and halftime. Now that South Carolina gave up the ball, yeah, this looks like this is it. 3 seconds, they're gonna go in up 7. I need Carolina to step it up. South Carolina. But so we've got the top 5 selections in the Circa, but we can talk about my next pick, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. -11.5. That's right. I'm going back to the well with the Ravens, the team that burned me last week against the Browns, who gave Cincinnati everything they could handle. They probably should have won that game, honestly. But double-digit favorites are double-digit favorites for a reason. And they usually cover when you get a double-digit favorite. It's just human psychology plays much of a part in sports betting, especially on the football, on the NFL, as the numbers themselves. Oh man, we got a man down for Texas A&M. That don't look good. He's not moving. That's not good. Hope he's all right. But double-digit favorites are double-digit favorites for a reason, and people would rather take the plus points with the underdog than lay a big number like this. But I have faith in Baltimore. I don't see them blowing another double-digit lead, and I think they're just going to give it to the Browns this week. They're at home. It's their home opener, and I don't think Joe Flacco's going to have much time. He's going to have a few turnovers in this game, and I don't see Baltimore taking their foot off the throttle in this one. I got it 35-17. Is what I think the final score is going to be. That's an 18-point win. So I think they cover it easily. I might have to sweat that out at the end if they maybe, it's a little bit within 11.5, but I don't see it. And so the other part of it is this is essentially a contest play in a sense because I'm taking arguably the best. They lost and their Super Bowl odds actually got lower. Like they're more of a favorite to win the Super Bowl after losing in week 1 at some books. But Baltimore is the best team in the NFL all the way around. They had some very unfortunate things happen in week 1. If they don't blow that lead, this is probably even more. And if Cleveland doesn't somehow manage to stay so close to Cincinnati, it might be more. But or it's it could have been even bigger spread. But that had a lot to do with Cincinnati's offense just being completely rusty because they don't play in the preseason. So guys just aren't conditioned to play a full game in the heat. And I'm just rolling with it. And in the Circa contest, double digit. I actually did a poll. I only got a few responses, but it was 75-25. In the Circa Millions contest, people tend to avoid double digit spreads altogether. Like they don't want anything to do with the dog because that means this is like a team that really has no chance of winning. I mean, as you can see, they're the second most popular team to win outright in Survivor. And they don't want to lay the big number because it takes a lot to lay a big number in the NFL because these are division rivals. They do know each other. But Baltimore is heads and tails the best team in the NFL right now. And Cleveland has no offense. They have no run game. They barely have some decent pass catchers. And their quarterback is 40-something years old, and he can't really move around too much. And I expect the Baltimore Ravens to give him hell. We might even end up seeing Dylan Gabriel, which would give me concern only because he can scramble around and make stupid plays that burn me. But I just have no faith in Flacco putting up more than 20 points, and I can see Baltimore easily scoring 35 points just because they held the Bengals to 17 points last week. That had much to do with the Bengals offense just being completely rusty and not having any real game preparation time in being week one as it does with how good their defense is. So, I mean, Myles Garrett's great, but give me Baltimore minus 11.5. And obviously it's not in the top 5, so that's good. I don't expect this to really. There probably won't be more than 700, maybe like 750 people will pick Baltimore. On X, if you go to the hashtag Circa Millions 7, some people like to post what picks they are, and only one person had Baltimore because, like I said, people just avoid it. They didn't have Cleveland, they didn't have Baltimore. They just move on from this game. But I'm gonna take a swing with the best team again. Let's see if they burn me again. They got me last week, and that's the other thing. A lot of people who had them last week and got burned are like, screw Baltimore. I don't want anything to do with this. This is serious with this guy here for Texas A&M on the field, man. They've stopped the game. They got the medical staff out there. They're all around him. I hope he's okay. It's terrible. And they're so close to halftime just going in. So, yeah, I am rolling with Baltimore, and I've used Lamar Jackson in quite a few. They still haven't released him yet. Quite a few DFS lineups for this week because I expect him to have a big day. Here we go. The next release from Circa on the VSiN is the Grandissimo, which is the $100,000 buy-in winner takes all Survivor contest. 69 entries, no eliminations in week 1. Everybody made it to week 2. Same thing as the Super Contest Gold, the Survivor Gold that they have, the $5,000 buy-in. Everybody made it through on that one as well. But the top pick in Grandissimo is the Ravens. So Ravens are very, very popular to win outright. And you have to remember, now last week, being week 1 and I showed you the graph there with the top 11 teams going 1-10 against the spread in week 1. The Ravens being number 1, that means a lot of people think they're going to win. And when teams win, they normally cover the spread. So even though it's a big number at 11.5, I'm comfortable with this because when teams win, they normally cover the spread. Now, last week, we had 4 teams that, I'm pretty sure it was 4 teams that covered the spread but lost the game straight up. I know the Jets did, the Falcons did. The Falcons lost. Yeah, not the Falcons. The It was the Jets, Titans. Who else was it? There was two other teams. I can't remember who they were, but there was four. But so the top pick is Baltimore. So a lot of people with big money invested, remember, $100,000 buy-in, believe Baltimore is going to win. Next up is the Cardinals, who were number one in Survivor. Then the Cowboys, the Lions, and the Rams. So these are the top five in Survivor as well. And then you've got one on the Bills, one on the Steelers, one on the Niners, and one on the Chargers. And so we've got some people taking some shots here, and like the Bills, there's, you got to remember there's 20 weeks in these contests because they make the Thanksgiving Day games and Black Friday, which is 4 games. That's 1 week. Then you have to pick another one the Sunday that comes up after that. And same thing with the Christmas games. You have to pick a team for the Christmas holiday games, and then you also have to pick a team for the Sunday after that. So 20 weeks total. And when you have those holiday games, there's only so many teams you can choose from. So you got to be aware of who you're going to use on, in those later rounds if you make it that far, because like a team like the Lions and the Cowboys who always play on Thanksgiving. If you use them now, that means they're done for Thanksgiving. You've only got, there's 8 teams total, so you've only got 6 teams to choose from now for that Thanksgiving weekend. It's bold, but you got to make it that far. Look at me, out week 1. It's just the way it goes. Just the way it goes. But so everybody's loving on the Ravens now. If you listen to, there's a podcast. Damn, I can't think of it now. Survivor podcast or something, Survivor Sports or something. I can't remember the name of it, but they were talking about last year, the Baltimore Ravens losing outright to the Raiders and taking like 2,000 entries out, over 2,000 week 2. So the fact that Baltimore week 2 is getting a lot of picks on them, make you nervous when you know that it can just easily, like that, a team could just lose the game, fluky things happen, and all of a sudden you're out. Man, there's a couple of people in the contest in Survivor who put like 10 entries on one team last week and lost. So that's brutal. All right, come on, guys. I know they do their show on VSiN. So they haven't released the PDF with all the picks yet. They got these ones out, but okay, we'll move on to my next pick. My 4th selection. You can see here behind me, you can see my hat. I'm a Falcons fan. Normally, I will not use Atlanta in the contest. I try to avoid it because I don't like, putting my personal opinion into these games. But I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons plus 3.5 this week. I think the injuries for Minnesota's defense is going to play a key in this one. Atlanta got their wide receivers back, London and Mooney, so they're fully loaded. And McCarthy played not very good most of that game against the Bears. And it was only when the Bears were completely gassed because the Bears' offense couldn't get a first down to save their lives. Caleb Williams was throwing the ball all over the place, and they just looked horrible. And they were gassed by the end of that game. And that's when J.J. McCarthy came alive. Now, so I believe the Falcons are the side in this one. I actually think they're going to win this game outright, giving me the 3.5 points. I mean, look at last week. They lost that game to the Bucs on a missed field goal at the very end of the game. Had they made that field goal, what would this line be now? 2? 1.5? 2? What if Minnesota doesn't pull off that incredible comeback where they scored 21 points in the 4th quarter against the Bears or whatever it was to come back in that game? And, what is this line then? So I think the wrong team's favored here. I know it's in Minnesota. It's going to be loud, first home game. But I believe in the Falcons. I think Penix is going to be a lot better. I think he's a better quarterback right now than J.J. McCarthy, and he's got just as many key pieces on his offense as the Vikings do. And I think the quarterback's better. I think Raheem Morris, he's better on the road against the spread than he is at home. I believe he's 20-17-1 against the spread on the road. So, he seems to get inflated numbers as a road team, and they usually fall within the number. They got a new kicker, Romo, I think is his last name. I can't remember who he played for. I think it might have been the 49ers or something, but they benched Koo after missing that game-winning kick in. I think he missed an extra point too and went off the upright. So, Bijan Robinson in the running game should be able to move the ball on Minnesota. Again, Van Ginkel, Okun are both out. Harrison, their safety, might play, but who knows what kind of shape he's going to be in because he hasn't played a snap in a regular season game yet. These guys got to get their legs under them because they don't play in the preseason anymore. So basically the first couple of games of the season work out like the preseason. That's why you're seeing these teams being gassed in the fourth quarter and giving up these leads like Chicago and Baltimore because they don't have the legs yet. They're still getting into regular season form. And so I like the Falcons here. I think Penix will do great. I think they'll be able to move the ball on the Vikings. I'm not concerned about the field goals and whether or not they're going to miss another important field goal. I like that they've gotten all their wide receivers back a good bill of health. And Jesse Bates in the secondary. I know Justin Jefferson's great, but I believe they'll have enough pass rush to get after McCarthy. Raheem Morris should be able to dial up some defenses to confuse the rookie quarterback or first-year starting quarterback. And, again, as much as McCarthy's been getting all this love in the media all week long, he hooked it. No good for Texas A&M. They're going to go into halftime up 4, but they could have gone in up 7. And I've got them plus 6.5. That would have been great. But, I just don't. I think as much as McCarthy's getting all the love from the media and everything, that had more to do with Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears offense not being able to get first downs and putting the defense back out on the field. I believe they ran almost 25 to 30 more plays, did the Vikings offense than the Bears offense. So that means the Bears defense was on the field a lot more. And they were just gassed. And they were missing some of their key starters. So, all the excuses in the world. But I just don't believe in the Vikings. So I'm going with Atlanta. They're giving me over a field goal with a team that can run the ball, a defense that's missing some of its key components, and a defense that's on the come up in the Falcons. So we'll see what we get. We will see what we get. But we got halftime in South Bend. And it is a 4-point lead for A&M, which is good for me. I need Carolina to do their thing, man. Come on, Carolina. Hopefully that South Carolina comes out of the locker room ready to go. They still haven't put it out yet. This is just a point spread here. So my final pick for this week 2 Circa Millions selection is going to be the Fighting 49ers and their backup quarterback, Mac Jones, filling in for Brock Purdy. This line opened up at, I want to say, 6.5 or 7.5 for the 49ers. 7. And it's gone all the way down to 3. There's even a plus, it's at 2.5, which somebody's got it at 2.5. It looks like ESPN bet. They must have some liability. But, I don't think Mac Jones is worse than Rattler. I don't think he's that much worse than Purdy. Now, it hurts that they lost Kittle. But they've got Trent Williams. They've got McCaffrey. They've got Brian Robinson Jr., they've got Juwan Jennings. They've got Ricky Pearsall. They got that Tunga, their other tight end that caught the touchdown against Seattle last week. They've got pieces, and they've got Kyle Shanahan scheming up a play calling, a game plan. Oh, we got somebody. We got somebody's having too much fun in Tahoe. They're coming out to put a stop to it. But the 49ers are just as good on offense with Mac Jones as the New Orleans Saints are, and they've got the better defense. They've got the better defense. They've got the better linebackers. They've got Bosa and Warner. They've got the better secondary. I mean, yes, the Saints are at home, but there is absolutely no reason why this line swung as much as it did in the favor of the Saints, other than the narrative that Mac Jones is this terrible quarterback. He's not. He took the Patriots to the playoffs his rookie season. He won a national championship with Alabama. He knows how to get the ball to the playmakers. He understands how to manage a game. I don't think the Patriots did him any favors towards the end of his time there with the skill position players that they had around him and the offensive coordinators they had calling the plays some of those seasons. So I believe in Mac Jones for this one game. I think we'll have the injured player theory where all the other players on the 49ers will step their game up in the wake of losing their quarterback. They'll play above board on this one. And the fact that it's 3, they got rid of Moody, which made me feel good because that guy is unreliable as a field goal kicker. They got Eddie Pinheiro. So at least they brought somebody else in so we can not have to worry every time they trot out the field goal kicker. Is he going to doink it off the pole? Is he going to hook it? Because Moody, he could make them, but you just never knew what you were going to get with him. And, with it being 3, could this game land on 3 and I end up getting a half point? Absolutely. But I just believe the 49ers have the better defense. I don't believe their offense took as much of a step down in class as they're making it out to be just because they went from Purdy to Mac Jones, and that they lost Kittle, because I still think they've got pieces on offense to get a win against inferior Saints team. I mean, the Saints they're down there near the bottom of the power rankings, along with the Panthers, as maybe the worst team in football. So, I'm a Falcons fan. I watch Spencer Rattler play, and yeah, he can scramble around and he can make plays with his legs, but in the end, he's going to do something that's going to cost his team the game. He's going to make a decision that, he turns the ball over, or, takes a sack at the wrong time that knocks you out of scoring position. Like, he doesn't make the right decisions at the right time, and it ends up costing the team. And I could definitely see that happening here. And you've got, Saleh coaching the defense for the 49ers again. He's going to call a good game against this quarterback that, they should be better than, in this scenario here. And so those are my 5 picks for the Week 2 Circa Millions contest. And we've got Atlanta plus 3.5. We've got Denver at a pick'em. We've got the New York Jets plus 6.5 at home. We're laying it the big number with Baltimore at minus 11.5 against Cleveland, and then San Francisco minus 3. In Mac Jones, I trust. In Kyle Shanahan, I trust. I wish he would have been the Falcons coach, but they weren't going to fire Quinn after he took him to the Super Bowl, even though it was really Kyle Shanahan's offense with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and all those guys that were the real reason why the Falcons even made the Super Bowl. But then those 5 games parlayed together. Now I took the points with Atlanta. Denver's money line right now, because even though it's a pick 'em in the Circa, the best number I could find on Action Network's app was the Broncos money line at minus 120. So I'm going to take the Broncos money line at minus 120. The Jets, I'm going to take the points with them. I'm not going to take the money line in this one, even though I do think they can win this game. I'd feel more comfortable with the 6.5 going in against Josh Allen, who is the number 2 best quarterback in the league right now behind Lamar Jackson. Baltimore obviously laying the 11.5, so we need that big number to get covered for this. And then San Francisco, I'm going to lay the 3 again. So all 5 of those parlay together comes to plus 2476. So essentially plus 2,500. So $100 bet, $250 or $2,500. So not too bad. $10, $250. So nice return if we can get the elusive 5-0. I haven't had a 5-0 week, and it's been a while since last season, deep in last season. And still waiting on the Circa here to release their selections, but that's the 5 picks for week 2 of the Circa Millions contest. We've got Denver as a pick 'em. We've got the Jets plus 6.5. Baltimore laying the 11.5 against Cleveland at home. We're going to go with the Falcons. This is the one time a year, plus 3.5 on the road, Sunday Night Football against Minnesota. And then the last and final pick is the Fighting Mac Joneses and the San Francisco 49ers, minus 3. So this will be the end of the NFL contest show release picks. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you stick around to the end of the stream, because I'll continue the live stream. I'm just going to cut the recording off and upload this video with my picks to YouTube so you can watch it later if you didn't get to watch it live streamed. And we're still waiting on the release of the selections for the Circa Millions and the Survivor and the Grandissimo. But all right, thank you for watching. This is the end of the NFL contest show. Stick around for the end of the stream. Texas A&M leads Notre Dame 28-24, and the second half is coming up.